right, knowledge hounds, buckle up. We're going deep today. Deep into Canibus territory.
Oh, yeah.
2 tracks specifically.
Yeah.
Illusions of Energy and The Truth. Get those thinking caps on, folks, because this is going to be dense.
You know what always gets me about Canibus is how he doesn't just rhyme, he builds these whole worlds with his words. It's like layers, man, layers of meaning pulled from science, philosophy, history, everything.
Okay, so we've got a real lyrical archaeological dig on our hands, but where do we even start with this density of ideas?
Well, one theme that jumps out, especially in Illusions of Energy, is this concept of time. It's an illusion, he says, an illusion of energy. Just think about that for a second. It flips our whole perception of reality on its head.
Whoa, yeah. Like our energy, our focus determines how we experience time. But like saying time flies when you're having fun. Maybe there's more to that than we think.
Exactly. And it's not just some abstract idea. Canibus connects it to these unseen forces at play, shaping our perception, maybe even manipulating it. He says, double helix necroilic, 12 strands before they steal it. What do you make of that?
Ooh, that one is cryptic.
Right.
I first thought DNA, the double helix, but then he throws in necroilic, 12 strands. It's beyond biology. Like, he's hinting at some hidden knowledge, maybe even a conspiracy about forces controlling us, maybe through genetics.
I like that take. It fits with this overall feeling of paranoia in the track. Like when he says, remove brain cortex to stop the doom forceps. It's visceral, man. Like something external is trying to suppress thought.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, who are these forces? Doom forceps, what are those?
Yeah.
Government, media, society, something even darker. He doesn't say, and I think that's what's so thought-provoking. Makes us confront the possibility we're not fully in control of our own minds.
And then, almost to balance this darkness, he throws in this peaceful image. The horrible beauty, tragic but intriguing to me. The still waters is what really moves me. It's a juxtaposition. Canibus finds beauty even in chaos.
It reminds me how he's drawn to paradoxes, like seek and ye shall find, outside is inside without mind. He flips reality, saying what's external might actually be our internal state. What do you think?
There's a philosophical depth to Canibus that's rare. He's not just rhyming, he's exploring ideas. Consciousness, perception, the nature of reality itself. And he weaves in history and myth to enrich the lyrics even more. Tower of Babel, 13 Disciples, King Solomon. It's like he's bridging ancient wisdom with modern thought.
It's true. Each line's a rabbit hole. You could spend hours unpacking the meaning behind a single phrase.
He doesn't shy away from social issues either. That line, end war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing, say it again. Raw commentary on conflict, violence, especially within the Black community.
You can feel the pain, the frustration. He's not just observing. He's living it, breathing it, channeling that emotion into his art. And it's not just pointing fingers. It's asking us to look inward, confront our own role in perpetuating these cycles.
Powerful message, and sadly, still relevant today.
Honestly, the way Canibus weaves science into his rhymes, it's not just name-dropping, he gets it. Like in The Truth, when he says nonlinear optics, time-reverse waves, quantum physics in hip-hop.
Right, and not just physics. He throws out specific details. 250,000 cycles per second for dolphin hearing. Spot on about their echolocation. Deep curiosity about the natural world.
This is what makes it more than music, you know? You learn while you're vibing. That line in Illusions of Energy sent me to the history books. The sorcerers first put dark forces to work, unleash evil elements across Earth. God's Earth, 1/3 Cobra, but 1 did Noah. Mixed with Shinona, 1/3 Logan X-Men quotient 2-hand.
See, that's pure Canibus. He's not just referencing history, he's reinterpreting it, building his own mythology almost. Shinona, Logan X-Man quotient. Makes you want to dig deeper, find those connections.
It's a treasure hunt. And then there's the imagery. Vivid, like a movie. Illusions of energy, delta-shaped doorways, double-deck doorsteps. Or later, praise the Lord, Gulak George treats you with a 2x4, watch the crowd still. Parkour. I could see it.
He's a master of wordplay, creating those pictures. But don't forget the social commentary. Illusions of energy and war. What is it good for? He hits a raw nerve there.
Not shying away from the tough stuff. Then in The Truth, he throws out, Poet Laureate is the future, elevating the artist beyond entertainment.
Exactly. Poets are the visionaries, the truth tellers. It's a call to action.
That line, that's never been done before in history. Bold, but with his skill, he kind of backs it up.
He's claiming his spot as a pioneer. It's not just rapping, it's building a legacy. This deep dive's barely scratching the surface. We could study these lyrics for years.
Brain's definitely getting a workout. But that's the fun, right? This quest for knowledge. Canibus is our guide, even if it gets intense.
And what a guide. Philosophy, science, history. But there's also a personal side. The truth, I need more pain so I can pretend to be tough. That vulnerability is rare.
It's humanizing. Someone real behind the rhymes, someone who struggles too. And in Illusions of Energy, there's that line about sharp, thin body on my slice through the water, Aquarius of Pisces fire, the harbinger. He's exploring his own identity through astrology, elements.
He's searching for self-understanding alongside these bigger ideas, personal and universal.
Inviting us into his world takes guts,
Mm-hmm.
but encouraging us to do our own exploring too.
Yeah, it's not passive listening, it's active. Canibus trusts us to keep up, doesn't dumb anything down.
And it's rewarding when you decipher those lines, like solving a puzzle. But there's always another layer, never ending.
That's the beauty. Complex, open to interpretation, no rush to conclusions. It's about the process.
Language, consciousness, existence, heavy stuff. But he makes it engaging, not a dry lecture.
He's pushing us to new heights. A master of his craft, a true innovator.
Couldn't agree more. What else have you noticed in these lyrics that we haven't touched on?
Well, we've talked imagery, social commentary, philosophy, but another layer is the spiritual aspect. He's not religious, but there's a spiritual undercurrent running through it all.
You know, in The Truth, he mentions the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind behind everything, almost pantheistic, like the universe itself is conscious.
Right, and in Illusions of Energy, there's that praise the Lord line, but it's next to these otherworldly secular images. It's like he's blending the spiritual and material.
Creating his own cosmology, pulling from different sources, forming his own path. Like, I'm not bound by one belief, I'm open.
And that openness is what's intriguing. Not preaching, but searching alongside us.
It's a spiritual journey for sure, but not dogmatic. More about questions, exploring possibilities. Makes his music so enriching. Not just beats and rhymes, it's food for the soul. Connects us to something bigger.
He's like a modern-day shaman channeling wisdom through hip-hop. What else about Canibus keeps you coming back? Besides the spiritual and philosophical, there's the linguistic brilliance, the wordplay, the rhyme schemes, intricate patterns, internal rhymes, using words most people have never even heard of.
He's like a walking dictionary. But it's not just showing off. He uses those words strategically to paint pictures, convey complex ideas.
Exactly. Not just rhyming for the sake of it. It's a tool, a weapon. Like a chess player, each move with precision.
It's a joy to witness, intellectually stimulating, A-N-D, beautiful, a symphony of language.
Those rhymes, so tight, so intricate, it's unreal how he does it. Pure mastery.
A virtuoso of language, a true wordsmith. But again, it's not just about skill, it's about communicating something meaningful.
He's a poet, a philosopher, a storyteller, all in one. His music shows the power of language to inspire, challenge, transform.
This deep dive's been incredible, mentally stimulated, spiritually enriched, amazed by his genius.
Me too. We're not done yet, though. So much more to uncover. What's been the biggest takeaway for you so far?
Honestly, the sheer depth of his intellect, how he weaves it into the music. It's not just entertainment, it's an invitation to think, to question, to expand your consciousness.
I hear that. He's asking us to level up, become active in the creative process, engage with the ideas.
So, listeners, really listen to those lyrics. Don't just absorb the sounds, grapple with the meaning, dig into those references, see where it takes you.
Don't be afraid to get lost in the labyrinth. Might surprise you what you discover about yourself, about the world.
Okay, before our brains explode, let's delve into another layer.
Absolutely. How about that theme of duality that runs through his work?
Duality. Interesting.
Light and dark, good and evil, knowledge and ignorance. Canibus sees the world as this tapestry of contrasting threads.
Like you can't have one without the other, two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. And he embraces the darkness, the shadows, illusions of energy. He talks about the sorcerers first put dark forces to work, acknowledging evil exists.
He sees it as balance, a force that can be used for good or evil. The yin and yang.
Right. And in The Truth, he says, corruption is necessary, but tell me who's the beneficiary. Facing that reality, even in power, there's always a darker side.
He's not naive, not idealistic, sees the world for what it is, complex, messy.
And he doesn't offer easy answers. He wants us to grapple with these questions, wrestle with the duality, find our own way.
Challenging us to think critically, question our assumptions, find our own truth. He's a guide, not a preacher.
Beautifully put. Shows the path, but doesn't tell us which way to go. Empowers us to make our own choices.
This is resonating. Owning your choices, both the good and bad.
It speaks to the power of his music. He's not just entertaining, he's challenging us to grow, evolve.
He's a true artist, a visionary, a truth seeker. And these two tracks, just a glimpse into his universe.
Absolutely. So much to uncover, so many layers. But before we go further, what stands out to you? Any lines or themes that have really hit home?
Well, I'm blown away by how he blends science into his rhymes. It's not just name-dropping. He understands these concepts. Like in The Truth, when he mentions electrocranial stimulation and plasma ray guns, it's like he predicted these technologies we are just starting to understand now.
You're so right. He was ahead of his time, a true futurist. It's not just about gadgets. He explores technology's impact on us, on society, the potential for good and bad.
Like in Allusions of Energy, he raps about a telepathic iPhone system. Eerie how he foresaw how we interact with technology today.
It's a warning about becoming too reliant on technology, of losing ourselves in the digital age. But he's also asking us to be mindful, to question technology's role in our lives, to make sure it serves us, not the other way around.
He was rapping about the metaverse before it was even a thing. The blurring of real and virtual, way before our digital bubbles.
Those layers of meaning are mind-blowing. A true visionary, a prophet of the digital age.
His insights are so relevant today. Technology is changing how we think, how we interact, how we experience reality. It can be overwhelming.
But Canibus helps us navigate this, to make sense of it all, to take back control in the face of these forces.
He's not just a rapper. He's a philosopher of technology, a guide to the digital frontier. And his music is a wake-up call, urging us to be mindful and question, to resist blindly embracing every shiny new gadget.
I'm glad we're talking about this. It makes me think about my own relationship with technology. It's easy to get swept up and forget to ask the hard questions.
Me too. Canibus reminds us we have a choice, we have power, we can be active creators, shaping technology for good.
He's a true genius, a master of his craft, a visionary helping us understand our world. This deep dive is blowing my mind.
Mine too. Canibus is pushing the boundaries of what hip-hop can be. It's a vehicle for deep thought, social commentary, even philosophical exploration.
You know, sometimes it feels like we're only scratching the surface.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much more to uncover in his lyrics. Listen, I catch something new, another layer reveals itself.
Like peeling back the layers of an onion. But instead of tears, you get these moments of insight.
I love that analogy. So where do we venture next in this lyrical labyrinth?
How about Canibus's exploration of the creative process itself? The artist's journey, the struggles to bring a vision to life.
Ooh, getting meta. Rapping about rapping.
Exactly. He's incredibly self-aware, reflecting on his process, the challenges of being an artist.
In The Truth, he says, rhyming can be dehumanizing. Powerful statement from him. Even for Canibus, the creative process can be draining.
Acknowledging the toll, the pressure to produce, to meet expectations, and still stay true to yourself.
He's also questioning art itself. Not just making music, but thinking about what it means to be an artist.
That tension. Artistic expression versus commercial success. Staying true to yourself versus appealing to everyone. So many artists struggle with that.
He's not afraid to be vulnerable, to show his struggles. In Allusions of Energy, he raps, hopeless spirit is combined complex concepts. I don't need them to tell me how deep my thoughts get. Battling his inner demons.
But he perseveres, driven by that passion to express himself, share his vision, even when it's hard.
A true artist, a warrior of words, a champion for creativity. His music shows the power of art, to heal, to inspire, to connect us.
And the power of perseverance, staying true even when it's tough. Success isn't always external, it's that internal satisfaction.
This deep dives a journey through the mind of a genius, a labyrinth of creativity. It's making me realize that creativity is about courage, pushing through self-doubt.
So true. Canibus shows us the creative process is messy, challenging, full of self-doubt. But it's rewarding, a journey worth taking.
So to our listeners who are creators,
Yes.
artists, writers, musicians, Canibus is urging you, embrace the struggle, keep creating, keep pushing, share your gifts.
Don't be afraid to be vulnerable, to be different, to be yourself. That's where the magic is.
I needed that reminder. Makes me appreciate his music even more.
Me too. Adds another layer, knowing the struggles behind it.
Okay, I'm ready for the next adventure. What else have you noticed?
Well, we've talked themes, wordplay, vulnerability. How about those recurring motifs and symbols in his work?
Symbols. Like what?
In Allusions of Energy, he keeps mentioning the number 13. 13 disciples, 13 bloodlines. It means something to him.
13. Bad luck, but also transformation, death, and rebirth.
Exactly. He's using it as a symbol of life's cycles, creation and destruction.
Makes sense with his themes of duality and unseen forces. He's also drawn to powerful symbols from history and myth, like the Tower of Babel, human ambition overreaching the consequences.
It connects to his exploration of language, its power to unite and divide. Language can bring progress, but also confusion and conflict.
So it's a cautionary tale, but also a celebration of language's power.
Absolutely. And in The Truth, he uses that image, sideways 8, around a microphone. So visually powerful.
I remember that. Infinity, the endless potential of creativity. Art, especially hip-hop, can transcend limitations.
And the microphone itself represents his voice, his power to amplify his message. It's like he's saying each of us has a voice, a responsibility to use it, to speak truth, challenge the status quo, create a better world.
So these symbols aren't just decoration. They add layers of meaning. We got to decode the hidden messages.
It's a treasure hunt. Canibus is the puzzle master, leaving clues, challenging us to decipher them.
And the more you dig, the more you realize there's no one right answer. It's about the journey, the discovery.
That's what I love, the journey, not the destination. Canibus invites us to be active, to engage, to find our own connection.
It's empowering. He's not spoon-feeding. He's asking us to think, to draw our own conclusions, find our own meaning in his universe.
Canibus isn't just a rapper, he's a storyteller, a poet, a philosopher. He's a symbol maker.
And his music is a gift. Wisdom, insight, lyrical brilliance.
This deep dive has been incredible, but we're just getting started.
I'm ready for more. What else is there?
Okay, let's focus on this theme. Knowledge versus ignorance. It comes up again and again in his work.
Big topic, especially relevant today with all the misinformation out there. Canibus really values knowledge, seeking truth, pushing back against ignorance.
For him, knowledge is power, liberation. It's how we unlock our potential.
In The Truth, he talks about burnt books and hiding rhymes in the woods. Powerful image of suppressing knowledge, silencing voices.
It makes you think about all the times knowledge has been seen as dangerous. Canibus reminds us we gotta fight for it, protect it, share it.
Like, ignorance is a form of enslavement, a tool for control. And he's fighting back with words, with rhymes, with his pursuit of truth.
A warrior of knowledge. And he doesn't just preach, he lives it. He's always learning, exploring, connecting the dots between different fields.
He's a polymath, a Renaissance man. And he inspires us to do the same, to never stop learning, to never stop questioning.
Knowledge isn't just facts. It's about understanding the world, our place in it. It's about critical thinking, questioning what we believe.
This deep dive is turning into a masterclass. He's like Socrates, but rapping, making us think for ourselves.
That's the best gift. He's not just entertaining, he's making us more conscious, more aware.
More than a rapper, he's a teacher, a guide to knowledge and wisdom. His music is a light in the darkness.
Feeling inspired, motivated, Canibus is a force for good.
This deep dive is amazing. But we're not done yet. There's more to explore in his lyrics.
Lead the way. I'm ready for it.
All right, let's talk about Canibus and the hip-hop community. His place in the genre, his impact.
He's always been an outsider, a lone wolf, never one to follow trends.
He does his own thing, forges his own path, not afraid to be different, to stand out, even if it alienates some people.
That's true, but it's also what makes him so unique. A true original, an innovator who pushed boundaries and expanded what hip-hop can be.
He's not rapping about the same old things. He brings new perspectives, intellectual depth. He's elevated the art form, shown it can be more than just entertainment.
Absolutely. He's a poet, a wordsmith. And while he may not have achieved mainstream success, his impact is undeniable.
He's inspired so many artists, pushed the genre forward, and even though some find him challenging, he's never compromised his vision.
Stayed true to himself, to his voice, a true legend, a pioneer.
And this deep dive is part of his legacy. We're still exploring his work, uncovering meaning, marveling at his genius.
Canibus is a gift, a treasure trove of wisdom, insight, and brilliance. We're lucky to share his work with our listeners, hopefully inspire them to dig deeper.
Me too. Incredible journey so far. Excited to see where it takes us.
Before we wrap up this section, I have to mention something we haven't talked about. Canibus's humor, his satire.
Humor. Really? I haven't noticed that. Always thought of him as serious, intense.
He is, but there's a playful side too. A sly wit that often goes unnoticed. Subtle, but it's there.
Interesting. How does he use humor with these complex themes?
Well, in Allusions of Energy, he has this line about trap, cream cheese, crab rangoon, and typhoons. Kinda nonsensical, but funny, right?
Yeah, I see it. Unexpected, poking fun at the absurdity of it all. High culture and low culture colliding.
Exactly. Creating distance, too. Like, don't overthink it, just enjoy the ride.
Makes sense with his dense lyrics. A bit of humor helps, lightens the mood.
What about the truth? Any humor there?
Mm.
There's a line, "A poor barber has poor posture as filthy as the collar of a dirty grave robber." Dark humor, but clever.
I love that. Unexpected. Makes you think. Using humor to point out hypocrisy, human flaws.
Entertaining and thought-provoking. Not just jokes, but humor with a purpose.
Canibus uses humor to illuminate the truth, to show us our own follies. This deep dive keeps revealing new layers. He's not just serious, he's playful, subversive.
And humor's never pointless. It always serves a purpose, like a secret weapon sneaking in messages while we're laughing.
So he makes us think, but also makes us feel. Reminds us it's okay to laugh, even with serious topics.
Exactly. It's part of what makes him so compelling. Complex, multifaceted, surprising.
This deep dive is a comedy show now. But who says learning can't be fun?
Great. Canibus shows us knowledge can be entertaining, philosophy can be funny, and hip-hop can make you think AD laugh.
Loving this journey.
Yeah.
He's a true original.
He is. But we're not done. There's still more to explore.
Lead the way. What's next?
Let's talk about authenticity. It runs through all of Canibus's work. You feel it in the lyrics, the delivery, everything.
Authenticity, huh? Tell me more.
Canibus is fiercely independent, never compromises his vision. He stayed true to himself, even when it made him unpopular.
Never try to be someone he's not. Refreshing in a world where everyone's trying to fit in. He's himself, flaws and all.
You can feel that in his music. It's not a persona, it's him bearing his soul, inviting us in.
You can feel the honesty. The truth, he says. I need more pain so I can pretend to be tough. He sees the pressure to project an image, but rejects it.
He's saying, I'll be real, even if it means being vulnerable. That's what makes him relatable.
It's okay to not be okay, to be messy, to be complex. Our imperfections are what make us unique, what make us real.
He's not hiding his flaws. He's saying, I'm not perfect, but I'm real. That's what matters.
That resonates with people. In a world of perfect images, it's refreshing to hear someone be themselves.
Canibus is an original, a unique voice.
His music shows the power of authenticity. Staying true to yourself, embracing imperfections. Being different is a strength.
He's a role model, showing us it's okay to stand out, to embrace who you are.
This deep dive is reminding me to be myself, to let my freak flag fly.
Me too. One of the best gifts Canibus gives us. He's not just entertaining, he's inspiring us to be more authentic, more courageous.
It's amazing how he's both vulnerable and this intellectual powerhouse.
It is. He's not afraid to be brilliant and human, to show his strengths and weaknesses.
He's not putting on an act, he's just Canibus.
And that honesty, that refusal to compromise, it's come at a cost. He hasn't always been accepted by the mainstream hip-hop world.
Some find him too dense, too intellectual.
True, but that's what makes him so important. He's pushing boundaries, showing hip-hop can be more than just beats and rhymes.
He's proving you don't have to dumb down your message to reach people. You can be smart, complex, and still connect.
That's powerful, especially for young artists trying to find their voice.
He reminds us it's okay to be different, to stand out, to be true to your vision, even if it's hard.
And Canibus has faced challenges, criticism, dismissal, but he never gave up, never let it get to him, kept pushing, stayed true to himself.
He's a warrior, and you hear that in his music, that determination, the refusal to be defeated.
In Allusions of Energy, he says, slayers remain survivors, resilient, overcoming obstacles.
He's a survivor, inspiring others to overcome their challenges. Never give up.
Showing us we can rise above, turn pain into power, create something beautiful from struggle.
Not just a rapper, but a beacon of hope, a source of strength.
His music reminds us we're all capable of greatness. We can overcome, we can achieve our dreams.
You know, we spent all this time on these 2 tracks, but it feels like we've only just begun.
Right. So much depth, so much complexity. Listen, I discover something new.
It's a bottomless well. His work is a gift that keeps on giving.
That's great art. It transcends time, speaks to us deeply no matter when we hear it.
Canibus's music is timeless, speaks to the human experience, and will resonate for generations.
So, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Don't be afraid to challenge yourself intellectually. Listen to music that makes you think, pushes you.
Yes. And dig deeper. Explore those layers. Find the hidden gems.
Canibus rewards close listening. He makes you engage, makes you wrestle with his ideas.
He wants us to be active, to co-create meaning. And he shows us that art can inspire, can change us.
Canibus is a visionary, a lyrical genius.
And I'm so glad we could explore his work with you today.
Another mind-blowing deep dive. Thanks for joining us in the lyrical labyrinth of Canibus.
And remember, the journey doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep questioning.
Until next time, peace.
Yeah.
Own skin.
Absolutely. It's about owning who you are, the whole package.
Makes you think, if he hadn't stuck to his guns, maybe we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
True. If he'd tried to fit in, to be more palatable, would we even be dissecting his work decades later? I doubt it.
He's a trailblazer. And his impact goes beyond just music, I think.
Oh, definitely. It's about individuality, about standing up for what you believe in, about not being afraid to challenge the status quo.
Powerful stuff. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away?
I think it's simple. Never be afraid to think for yourself. Don't just consume, question. Challenge those easy answers, those narratives we're fed.
Yeah, be like Canibus. Dig deeper, find your own truth, and don't let anyone tell you what that truth should be.
This has been an incredible journey into the mind of a true original.
Absolutely. Canibus, poet, philosopher, warrior of words.
A lyrical genius who's still pushing boundaries.
Huge thanks to our expert for navigating these complex themes. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this wild ride. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those thinking caps on.
Peace out.
Peace.